How hard can it really be to make Super Mario Odyssey 2? In my opinion, Mario Odyssey is about as close as humanity has ever come to platforming perfection. Trolling Mario has never been so smooth, intuitive, or outrageously polished. And the introduction of Cappy and its magical capture abilities allowed the world to finally know what it's like to be a frog with a mustache. Obviously, it has some flaws. I mean, Mario does use the capture ability to go inside Yoshi, but it's undeniable that Mario Odyssey, along with Breath of the Wild, helped to skyrocket the Switch, cementing Nintendo's place in this generation of consoles. And years later, we're getting Breath of the Wild 2's sequel in the form of Tears of the Kingdom, so the question is, where the heck is Mario Odyssey 2? So I figured I'd open up Game Builder Garage and find out just how hard it is to make it myself. My first task was to try and create my very own Mario. I'd usually start by getting straight into building a player character from scratch, but in a moment of brilliance, I realized that I could take my Mario from my Mario Sunshine 2 video and shamelessly copy and paste it into my Odyssey game. Now all we need to do is remove FLUDD, season it with some Italian herbs and spices, and we're done. Would you look at that? I'm like the EA Sports of shitty Nintendo ripoffs. Okay, but don't worry, we're not actually done yet. If my years of schoolyard plagiarism have taught me anything, it's that you need to make things just different enough that you don't seem like a complete hack. And lucky for us, I have just the solution, because I remember that Mario Odyssey includes outfits. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Did someone say Mario Makeover? There are so many great costumes to choose from in Mario Odyssey. I mean, you could be Santa's side hustle, a pirate on holiday, or a flippin' space cowboy. But in the end, I decided I should let Mario's dad bod shine and rock out in his polka dot boxer shorts. I don't care who you were. That's hot. And with my Mario up and running, it was time to move on to the game's main mechanic, the Cappy throw. After connecting up some teleports, I was able to throw my own Cappy, and then I subtracted its location from the players to make it return to Mario's head. It works surprisingly well, but I did run into some issues with Cappy struggling to return if you move around too much. It would result in Cappy fizzing around you like an out-of-control moon. You could view this as a glitch, but I'm just gonna think of it as like a Cappy Green Demon challenge. Thankfully, I've already dabbled in switching between character controllers for my Morph Ball in my Metroid Prime 4 game, so before long I was able to throw Cappy at a default creature model, allowing the player to control the creature's movements. I could have called it a day here, but I couldn't help but feel that we could do one better than controlling a Furby ripoff. And everyone knows that the only thing better than Furbies is mother-flippin' dinosaurs. Controlling the T-Rex in Mario Odyssey was a real highlight for me, and it unlocked a weird dinosaur kaiju power fantasy I never knew I had. Now, before we get too carried away, I feel like I should say that last time I tried to make an ambitious character model like this was when I wanted to make a dragon for my Dark Souls game, and it ended up looking like a duck. But if you think about it, dinosaurs and birds are pretty closely linked on the evolutionary tree. I mean, chickens are basically just very chill velociraptors. Huh. I think I just convinced myself that I can pull this off. And ooh, did I ever pull it off. Look at this beautiful thing. Kinda reminds me of Dory from Mario 64. I quickly made some breakable blocks, hooked up my dinosaur's controls, and the time had come to let the carnage begin. And after that overwhelming adrenaline rush, I decided to tone things down a little bit with some level design. I really enjoy the cascade and wooded kingdoms in Mario Odyssey. There's just something about lush green levels in games that makes them peaceful and fun to explore. So I decided my theme should be a prehistoric forest with trees and a waterfall. And I even took a trip to the garden center for inspiration.
I love plants, they are great. Don't hug a cactus with your face, and please ensure eye contact breaks. Don't stare while sniffing flowers.
Despite my grand plans, I did have to keep the level fairly simple so that I still had room on the game file. However, I did squeeze in a waterfall, the Odyssey ship, and a couple of moons to collect. So I felt like I was ready to move on to making a boss fight finale. Despite the fact that I wasn't all that into the Brutals, there are some pretty memorable fights in Odyssey. But the one that I always remember is the Chain Chomp Madame Brutal fight. I don't know what it is about demon dog spheres that's so endearing, but from the very first time I clipped through one of these bad boys in Mario 64, it was love at first chomp. So I figured I'd recreate the Chain Chomp fight, but with Waluigi instead of Madame Brutal, because if Waluigi isn't in Mario Odyssey 2, then what's the point? It was all smooth sailing to begin with, but as I went to test the Chain Chomp's chain using Mario and a block, I somehow spent a solid 10 minutes doing rhythmic gymnastics. But once I'd finished dancing my heart out, I created a chain chomp design, made it so that it could be captured, and then added sensors so that it would be launched at Waluigi if the chain was pulled tight. It all still needed a bit of cleaning up, but my game was basically done, which means it's time to try and make some Mario Odyssey inspired music. I don't know what it is about Mario soundtracks that's so intimidating. The music's just too good, okay? But I pushed through the intimidation, opened up GarageBand, and tried to write some jazz big band on a laptop in a bedroom alone using MIDI. And with the music done, everyone, here's my version of Mario Odyssey 2. So now that I've made my very own version of Mario Odyssey 2, is it really that hard to do? I know that you can't really compare what I've done here to an actual Mario game, but still, this wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. But it's the same story as my Mario Sunshine 2 video. Mario games aren't great because they're complicated. They're great because they take platforming fundamentals and execute them to an unbelievable standard. So yeah, it's hard, and I've once again been humbled by this Italian plumber. If you enjoyed this video, then why not check out some of my other videos? I've tried making a 3D Yoshi game, Metroid Prime 4, and even Mario Sunshine 2. Thanks for watching this video. It was a lot of fun to make. I've really been enjoying all your comments and feedback, and I hope you all have a great day.